Hello, welcome to another episode of Simply Sassos Podcast, Real Estate 101, and other fascinating topics. This episode, I have the great pleasure of having, do you prefer Nathaniel or Nathan?
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Como with Elevate Tech Solutions. Nathaniel, thanks for being here today.
No problem.
So, Elevate Tech Solutions. So we know it's technical.
Yeah, very.
So tell me a little bit about Elevate Tech.
Elevate Tech Solutions, we really specialize in three areas: website design, web management, and application design. So just about anything that happens on the internet or on your computer, we offer custom solutions to fit whatever you need, solve whatever problems you're having.
Okay. So anything involving web, tech, design.
Yep. Web design, if you go anywhere on the internet, there's a lot of websites, web applications, even programs that people use on the web now. We do everything from a business website all the way to a fully custom application to help your business be more efficient.
Okay, awesome. So that's what Elevate Tech Solutions is, but I also like to know, well, actually, I know you. We're in the same networking groups and everything else.
Yep.
But tell people listening, we want to know a little bit about Nathaniel Como. So tell us about your background.
Yeah, well, I have a very technical background. I think I was kind of hosed from the beginning because even as a little kid, I was that kid that would go to garage sales and buy computers and then rip them apart and piece together a working one, which drove my parents nuts because they could never keep track of what I had. But always had a love for tech and design. And so my first industry I worked in technically was the entertainment industry, which was awesome. Grew up doing both web coding and then also production. And so right out of high school, I went into the production side of things because who doesn't want to live life on the road and go into that concert life? But I got a lot of great experience there because production, no matter what field you're in, is very fast paced. And so I got to learn how to be efficient, how to work with people, how to solve problems very quickly. And so as I was doing that, I was still doing web design. And then in the last couple of years, I've had the opportunity to continue to do that as a freelance opportunity. And now I've shifted my full-time focus into web design, application design, and the software side of things. It's a really exciting, fast-moving field. I love it because the possibilities are endless. Technology is always moving, and that's something that I love to try and keep up with. It's a challenge that I crave. So that's sort of my technical background and sort of where I cut my teeth.
Okay. So Elevate Tech Solutions and Nathaniel Como, Kismet. So I wanted to talk to you today because, as you know, I'm in real estate. I am a broker for both a property management company and a residential and commercial real estate brokerage. Now, our lifeblood, well, I wouldn't say our lifeblood, but a good portion of our business, and actually it should be a larger portion than it is for most professionals in my business, but quite honestly, most of them aren't tech savvy, is their websites and is online marketing. So with that said, there's so many social media platforms.
Oh, yeah.
And, email when it first came out was great. Then it was pretty much an annoyance.
Yeah.
And, texting came in, instant messaging, DMing, then your social media platforms. So websites are still important, but with how rapid information is being shared online, you constantly have to keep everything fresh and updated. So how do we get... All right, I'll make it personal. How do I get my website, but everyone else listening to who has a website, how do you stop your website from going the way of the dinosaur?
Yeah.
Meaning because you can become hero to zero real quick. So how are you able to prevent that? And what are your thoughts on websites versus social media?
Yeah, well, what's interesting about that is the role of websites have changed over time. and the way you reach people is changing. As you mentioned, email, texting, a lot of these reaching out directly to people is becoming more difficult to capture people's attention. There's a lot of information out there. So more and more, the role of websites and social media as it pertains to business is not so much you finding people and capturing them, but the online presence now matters for getting yourself in front of the people that are looking for you, which has always been sort of the goal of an online presence, but it's becoming more and more imperative. And so there's a lot to take into account. Social media moves very fast. Social media platforms are always changing. And so more and more social media and the web are tied together. Mm-hmm. And, Google, who is ever changing and fun to keep up with, they are using metrics from social media to look at your website and determine how important it is. And it's a lot to stay on top of keeping a website up to date. It's a very design changes fast and security, and what's hard for some people to keep up with is that ever-changing landscape in web. You look at any tech field. You look at Apple is a great example. They come out with 2-3 iPhones a year, and they're not massive changes at this point, but there's subtle changes that happen along the line. So what ends up happening is you look at an iPhone from 5 years ago versus one today, and even though the steps in between were gradual, that's a big difference both in physical design and what's happening on the phone for security.
Right.
That's a huge shift. And so it's the same with websites. Keeping up with design is an ever-changing, ever-evolving thing that you want to be able to keep up with. Anything from what's new in design and color trends all the way to mobile usability is a big deal that wasn't valued as much 5 years ago as it is now. So the web field is always changing. I do most of my internet browsing now on my phone, which is saying a lot. And
I think most people do now, don't they?
Yeah, it's huge. And I think the shift came in 2016 was where more people browsed on their phones versus on a desktop. And so that's been reflected in how Google looks at websites. They look at your mobile version of your website versus the desktop first. So if you don't have a mobile version of your website or you don't have a responsive website that is great on a phone, Google's going to see that and you're going to get massively penalized for it.
Yeah.
So
and on top of that, Google's the only one who's going to see that because no one's going to look at your website. So if you haven't updated your website to a mobile presentation, you've got bigger problems because 4 years in today's tech world is smoke signals to satellites. Yeah. So you're way behind if that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you had mentioned tying your social media and your website together. So where do you see who leads who? Does the website lead the social media or the social media lead the website?
It's not so much one leads the other as they serve different roles. Websites now are primarily educational in nature, and they're there to convey information, what your business does. It's a very practical metric of seeing who's looking for your services, getting what you do in front of people, whereas social media is a tool to engage your current and potential customers. So generally what we're advising people to do, because they're both very important, is you want to be focusing on the personal and relatable side of your business. One client we work with, he's a cleaning company, and he does very well with his website conveying what they do, being practical. And then on social media, they're talking about their community involvement. They sponsor a race team. They're very involved in sportsmanship and helping young athletes. So social media is a great way to relate and make your company accessible. And you can have that sort of parallel effect of being able to interact with people, make your company more personified and express what you want your company to be known as in the community. And then as people become more comfortable with seeing your company as something relatable, they're more likely to do business with that. And vice versa, if you're doing business with a company and you see them active in the community, you're more likely to stick with them.
Okay. So I would imagine that a big portion of getting that understanding with your target audience is branding and consistency of image and making sure that your social media looks like your website and vice versa?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the great things that we love to do when we pick up a new client is sit down with them and understand who they are as a company so that we can not just grasp the business side of things, but also what is their role in the community? What are the things they care about? Are you really big into supporting first responders or veterans, or are you very active in the sports community? Are there sponsorships or different things that you're involved in? And we can tie that together by representing what they do in the community on the website and also pointing the website back to the social media. And the more those things tie together, you can think of it as these strings between your social media and your website. And those strings are very big in any of the ranking sites, Google, Bing, Yahoo, saying, okay, this is an active website, this is a healthy website, this is what people are looking for. And the more strings that are tied between those things, the more likely people are going to be to find you and to be interested in you, and then ultimately to do business with you.
Okay. So you're not just the tech solution side of it. You also are involved in the branding side of it.
Yeah, we like to be, whether you already have a branding approach that you're taking, we love to understand it and tie it in. Mm-hmm. We don't want to be a company that's just slapping a website up that doesn't represent you well. So we love to work in that branding of who your company is to our design, and we can do anything from help you brainstorm that all the way up to if you want to do a full-on branding marketing blitz, we are able to help you with redesigning graphics, to talking to direct marketing agencies. We have a lot of great people that we work with that can help you do anything from a small, very simple marketing campaign all the way up to figuring out what your brand identity is and what you want to put forth on the internet.
Okay. So I'm going to pick your brain real quick.
All right.
Social media-wise.
Yes.
What are the go-to platforms in your opinion?
The go-to ones, Facebook is definitely one of the biggest because Facebook incorporates not only interaction with your clients and potential clients, but also there's the ability to rate and review, which is a huge metric that not only people look at, but since people look at it, Google looks at it. So using Facebook to interact and to gain those reviews is probably the biggest one. The next biggest one, which I consider it social, but it's not really a social media platform, is Google My Business. Mm-hmm. That is a huge thing for people to be focused on, and it can get lost in the weeds sometimes. But really making sure that your information on Google My Business is up to date, but also making sure people are reviewing you on Google. That is a huge deal that can sometimes get overlooked. But it's very important because those reviews factor in, but also making sure that localized searches in your area that you're showing up, that's a big deal for Google My Business. And also, if you want to show up on Google Maps, if you're a physical location, that is something that needs to be actively managed. And then if I was going to pick a third one, purely out of an engagement standpoint, I would probably go with Instagram, which can be a hard one for some companies depending on what you do. But there's always a creative way, I believe, to garner a social media presence. So I think Instagram is one of the big ones. And the reason I pick those three is also because they're sort of established. There's a lot of other smaller social media platforms that come and go. Twitter's a very good one also for engagement, but it takes a lot more of active upkeep.
Right.
And that can be a tricky one sometimes. So as a company grows, I would definitely encourage them to have a social media presence. And you see a lot of huge companies that even do their tech support essentially through Twitter, looking at what problems people are having. But if I was going to pick the three to focus on right off the bat, it would probably be Facebook, Google My Business, and then Instagram.
Okay. And if you're not familiar with Google My Business, Google it.
Yeah. Great resource.
But I can tell you this, from a realtor standpoint, a lot of times we want to put our reviews on Zillow. We want to put our reviews on our website. That's great, but you need to get them on Google. Because if you're looking at power of search engine, mm-hmm. and just power of, to quote Pinky in the Brain, worldwide influence, it's going to be Google. So make sure that you can set up your Google My Business for free. You can put yourself on the Google map for free and get your reviews on there and get it updated. I was notorious for not doing that, and now I do it a lot. I make sure that I refresh it as much as I can.
And if that's something that you want integrated into your website, we can absolutely help with that. Make it a one-stop shop, make it a little more convenient for people. Instead of having them look for a Google My Business, which is great through email, you can also point them to your website and have a way to review directly from a website. So that's a great tool as well.
Awesome. So we have all this information. We have our social media platforms. Heck, we didn't even talk about YouTube or Snapchat or Gary Vaynerchuk's favorite, which I don't understand, which is TikTok. I'm not singing on a site.
I'll pass on that too. No one wants to hear that.
I guess it depends on what you're selling. But you have all this information. Then you've got a blog, right? And then you've got a vlog. Now, what's your opinion on video versus still?
As far as conveying information?
Which one's king?
Ooh, really, to quote many great minds throughout time, it's just all about how you use it. Because if you are someone that can convey information in a graphic better than through a video or vice versa, it really comes down to who you are. Someone like BuzzFeed, who kind of specializes in both, they're a great case study because they've sort of nailed down the list side of things as a very visual graphic. The top 10, literally anything you can probably find. That's a great graphic way to convey information versus video is becoming more of a long form expanded format. So if I'm picking personally, I love video, but I also recognize that when I'm trying to move quicker and I'm trying to gain information faster, sometimes paging through a video to find what I want or, spending the time on video, I sometimes don't do that. So really, I think it depends on who you're targeting, what kind of information you're trying to get across. And understanding that, I think you can usually make a educated decision that'll make it really effective.
And for myself, it's video, but that's only because my eyes suck and it takes forever for me to read a blog.
That's fair.
I like the video. But no, that's good information. So whether you're a realtor or whether you're a painter, whether you're a landscaper, construction attorney, whatever you are, you have to do your job, which is whatever your profession is. So I got to do all of that. And then I've got to make sure that my blogs are updated. I've got to make sure my vlogs are updated. I've got to make sure that my social media is tied to my website and my website's tied to my social media. I got to make sure that everything's refreshed. I don't have time for that.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't have any time for that.
Yeah.
So what's the solution?
Well, that's the exact reason why we exist. Elevate Tech Solutions is here to take that off your plate. If you're, as most business people are, you're generally a little more than full-time trying to make your business work, the company that you're working for. It's a lot to manage, so we exist to manage that for you. Our full-time focus is on managing websites, making sure that they're up to date, both on the design and the usability, but also the security. And we're able to dedicate a lot more time and resources and also time to understand what you need than you might be able to do in your free evenings or on your weekends. And, it's a full-time job to keep up with that. So if you have that space in your schedule to keep up with that, more power to you. But there's a lot of people that if they're focused on growing their own business, then to focus on this whole other world is overwhelming. So that's where we come in, is basically to help your business grow, to help you succeed. We want to solve your problems. We want to help you be successful, because then ultimately that means we were successful. So we exist to help that kind of person that just doesn't have the time to keep up with all that. And we love coming alongside those people, supporting their business and supporting them and helping them grow and ultimately take their next steps to become a more successful business.
Awesome. And I can add to that, when you're a small business owner and you're thinking about, well, I don't have the budget for that, or I'm going to do that soon. what you need to weigh is how much is your professional time worth, how much time you're going to spend on updating a website, updating your social media, and doing all that. And more importantly, how important is your personal time worth? Because I can promise you, you're not doing this during your professional time. Mm-hmm. You're doing this on your time off. You're doing this when you're supposed to be having dinner with your family. You're doing this late at night when you're supposed to be in bed or early in the morning. And the key to social media, the key to your website and whatever message you're trying to get online, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Nathaniel, but my experience has been repetition and consistency of message. Mm-hmm. And if, like I do Topic Tuesday.
Yeah.
Well, I don't do Topic Wednesday, and I don't do Topic Monday. So if I don't release my Topic Tuesday on every Tuesday, then I break the cycle. Mm-hmm. So the people that are waiting for me or remember that I'm on Tuesday and they don't find me, mm-hmm. they stop looking for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true.
How much time is that? How much is your time worth? And to quote my sales training from Cintas Corporation, what is the price of nonconformance? So what happens if you don't have time to do that social media and you don't get your message out? How much did that cost you? So it's not a situation of cost when it comes to Elevate Tech Solutions. It's a situation of value. Mm-hmm. And the value that they're bringing is they're able to connect everything, do everything, make it turnkey for you, and you can actually go do your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Nathaniel, to wrap it up, I want to say thank you.
No problem.
Very
Thanks
informative.
For having me.
How do people get a hold of you?
Our website is the best place to reach us, elevatetechsolutions.net. And on there, you can fill out a form. You can contact us through all of our contact information, which is on there. We are also on Facebook, Elevate Tech Solutions. Or if you want to shoot me an email, I would love to hear from anyone that gave this a listen. My email is Nathaniel, Nathaniel, at elevatetechsolutions.net.
Awesome. Thank you again, Nathaniel. I'm also going to put their link on my website as well, simplicityre.com and jbrmanagement.com as well. And as always, I'm Rob Sassos. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or property manage real estate in the Orlando Winter Park area, I'm your guy. Rob at simplicityre.com or simplicityre.com is my website. This has been Simply Sassos. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next episode.